Noisy Nick and the Nettle Nibbler by Stephanie Laslett. There was a large crowd around the Letterland notice board. Noisy Nick was nailing up a big notice. Everyone gathered near, craning their necks to see what it said. "The Letterland riding races will be held next week," said Noisy Nick. "Anyone who wants to enter must write their name here, nice and clearly." "I will enter on my ostrich," declared Oscar Orange. "And I will ride my goat," giggled Golden Girl. Fireman Fred and Eddie Elephant decided to enter together. Soon the notice board was full of names. The Letterland riding races were always held in one of Fireman Fred's fields. The next day, everyone set off to practice. The Harry Hatman on his horse Henry, Oscar on his ostrich, and so on. In fact, nearly everyone from Letterland was there. Even Quarrelsome Queen went along to watch. But when they arrived, to their dismay, they found that the field was knee-deep in nettles. Nettles as far as the eye could see. "Oh no," said the Harry Hatman. "There's no way that we can have the Letterland riding races here." "Nonsense," snorted Quarrelsome Queen. "I'm not nervous of these nasty nettles. We can cut them down in no time." But as soon as she tried, the leaves fell on top of her. "Ow!" she shrieked as a nettle landed on her nose. "This is horrible. No more nettles for me." "What a nuisance," complained Fireman Fred. "How on earth can we get my field back to normal?" "There's nothing we can do," sighed poor Peter. "We'll never get rid of them in time." Noisy Nick said nothing. He was too busy watching Doris the donkey. She was nibbling the nettles just inside the gate. Naughty but nice," she said, licking her lips. Everyone turned to look. "Now, Doris," said Clever Cat, "if you were to nibble non-stop day and night, could you eat all the nettles in this field by Sunday?" The donkey nudged the nearest nettle with her nose. She gazed across the field, then slowly swung her head from side to side. No, I'm afraid not," she sighed. "But it would be nice to try," and she began to nibble again. "This is no good," sniffed poor Peter. "We're getting nowhere." "Never mind," shouted Noisy Nick. "Now I know what we need." And he ran off at high speed back towards his house. For the rest of that day, nobody saw Noisy Nick, but they knew exactly where he was. The noise from his workshop was deafening. "What a racket!" complained his neighbors. "What is he doing?" Nighttime came, but there was still no end to the noise. The next morning, there was a notice on the workshop door. "No entry," it said, "to all my neighbors near and far. Sorry about the noise, but I am working on a new invention. I know it is a nuisance, but it is necessary. P.S. I need more nails." "What nonsense!" spluttered Sammy Snake. "This non-stop noise is giving me nightmares." But there was still no sign of Noisy Nick. 2 days later, the noise stopped. All was quiet and still. Kicking King called through the keyhole, "Noisy Nick, are you in there?" But there was no answer. Suddenly, the doors flew open and a new noise started up. Clanker, clanker, clink, clink, it went, and out through the doors came the strangest sight. "Now you can see my new invention," announced Noisy Nick proudly. "Make way!" He was sitting on top of an enormous wooden machine. It had 4 big wheels, and sticking out in front, 9 gnashing sets of teeth. "Strong teeth, just like Doris the donkey," explained Noisy Nick. "But my machine eats nettles 9 times as quickly." "It's marvelous!" exclaimed Munching Mike. "It's super!" hissed Sammy Snake. It's fantastic, said Fireman Fred. It's nothing of the sort, replied Noisy Nick. It's a Nettle Nibbler. Follow me, and he set off down the road to the race field. You could tell that the machine had been made by Noisy Nick, because it was a little bit naughty itself. It took a big bite out of the Hairy Hatman's hat. It chewed up one of Jumping Jim's juggling balls. It even bit a hole in Red Robot's sack. It's nearly as good as munching as me, laughed Munching Mike. Soon they reached the field. Noisy Nick pulled a lever on top of the Nettle Nibbler. Everyone held their breath. Here goes, said Noisy Nick, and he pushed a large red button marked Nibble Now. Suddenly the 9 sets of teeth began gnashing and nibbling through the nettles as if the machine hadn't eaten for months. Hooray! Cheered the crowd as the machine chomped its way across the field. Now we can have the races after all, giggled Golden Girl. Sure enough, the Nettle Nibbler cleared the field in no time. It worked all morning, and by the afternoon there was not a nettle to be seen. Well done, Noisy Nick, cried Harry Hatman. Let the Letterland riding races begin. Everyone lined up for the race to begin. Sammy Snake was the race starter. Ready, steady, go, he shouted, and off they went, galloping down the field. Suddenly, from behind them all, came a strange noise. Clanker, clanker, clink, bonk! It was the Nettle Nibbler and Noisy Nick. They streaked down the field and crossed the finish line just ahead of Oscar Orange. Everyone cheered loudly, and Harry Hatman cried, Hooray! Oscar Orange wins first prize. But we now need a special prize for Nick and his Nettle Nibbler too. Can you guess what prizes they got? A shiny new hammer for Noisy Nick, and a net full of nettles for the Nettle Nibbler, of course. Subscribe to my channel and give this video a big thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram at The Rainbow Teacher.